Hey, Few authors! I'm so excited to be getting started on another Few International Publications book and the very first devotional that Few is putting out. So, you may recognize these clothes, and that's because technology has its way with me sometimes. It's interesting that Kim had her story about that last night. The uploads finished for the training videos, and or tonight I should say that she had that story. The uploads finished for the videos and the sound was not on. I realized I had not turned on the external mic for these videos. So we're redoing them. I'm a little tired. You may see me reach for the coffee a little bit so that I can get these taken care of for you guys tonight and get them uploaded for you tomorrow as soon as I am able to. So first of all, we're going to be talking through the marketing, something that I talked about last night at the Community Builder, and I want to refresh in your mind here, is that everybody's going to be in the job of marketing yourself. The truth is, we are really having a struggle with this as women, and especially as Christian women, because we don't want to go out there and be bragging on ourselves and saying why people need to work with us. And it feels a little bit contrary to the humility that we want to demonstrate as Christian women. But God also has a purpose for us in our stories, and certainly in you working on this devotional together. So it's really important that you do learn how to market yourself, learn how to state your positive attributes and why somebody would want to work with you. And that's what marketing is all about. Now, you're going to see that by the end of this book, you will have experienced a lot of marketing. But I want to give you a little bit of a foundation. So this first marketing lesson is actually your marketing initiation. I want to give you a foundation to be able to walk through this marketing while you're working on your devotionals, and while eventually you're working hopefully as a speaker or at least as somebody who's attending events with this devotional book. So we're going to walk today through the marketing initiation, and we're starting with the foundation. The foundation is all built on having those platforms to communicate and having something to put out on that platform. Some of you know I read last night from the book Content That Dances by Sarah Schwab. I want you to know that while I worked with Sarah, I am her co-author. Just as with any of the Few International Publications books, I don't get any money when people are buying that book. That money is going to the authors that are working hard in creating it. I've been paid for my services in advance. So when I'm recommending books to people to read, I'm not telling you get this book so that I can get a little bit of a kickback. That's not the reason. I'm telling you get this book because it can make a difference for you. It's the same reason I'm telling people to buy Few International Publication books, because that's going to make a difference in the world. Content That Dances will make a difference for you. It's going to be really easy. I will tell you, as you know, since I'm retaping this video here late at night, I am not a person who's tech savvy. So you're going to find that that book really gives you some great skills that you can take forward no matter where you are with your technical abilities. So she's going to talk to you a lot about how to create a foundation, where to create that foundation, how to reach people. I want to do the same for you here in a much more condensed format. Ultimately, at the end of this program, I will have walked through some 80 steps to make sure that your book, A Few Words on Becoming Holy, Whole, and Fit, is going to be a huge success. These are some things that you, as an author and possibly speaker down the line, are also going to be able to implement. The big piece of your foundation is going to be a blog. A blog is important. It's important not just because you're getting out there and spilling and giving your opinion on everything. A blog is not a soapbox. A blog is a way to create relationship between you and the people that you're trying to reach with your words. In this case, those words are the devotional. So in the case of a blog, I've recommended to you 3 different sites that are very user-friendly: Wix, Wix.com, Tumblr, Tumblr.com, and if you have a Facebook account, you can actually go in there and make a Facebook page. So that is different from your personal account. It's a business page, even though you can give it your same name. You could call it Kathy Carter Author, or it could just be Kathy Carter. Or maybe you want to call it something entirely different. It's a creative name that's sort of related to the devotional. One of the few Kathy Carter. You can't just be one of the few, because I'm pretty sure Kim's got claim on the whole few thing. But certainly you're going to want to tie to that organization in your name, because at the end of the day, few is really successful. Few is with powerful and extraordinary women. So that's somebody that you want to be associated with as an author. So you can go in and you can create that Facebook page. In creating a Facebook business page, so you're going to be a business person under Facebook, it's separate from your personal account, so you don't have to have everybody on that. You don't have to share your family photos and whatnot. But B, you can actually use that as the home page for your blog. Now, to blog on Facebook, what you're doing is you're actually uploading notes or you're uploading documents. And then when you upload those on that page or you fill them out on that page, anybody who's following your page is going to be able to see those documents, those notes that you share, which can very well be a blog. All of these are free. Wix is free, Tumblr is free, Facebook page, totally free, and they're all pretty user-friendly. They have templates. You do not have to be, a rock star technical person to be able to do these. They're all really free. Why the blog is because it's a relationship. But now you're thinking, okay, what am I going to put on that first blog? This is my 5-paragraph simple answer on how to create your first blog. So some biographical data. That doesn't mean that you have to come out right away and just say, my name is, and I'm this old, and this is where I live. No, it's just really something that's just casually throwing out to the world who you are. So for me, I might say something like, I'm a Wisconsin author. Maybe I'm going to say my age. I didn't mean that 3. I'm honest, I own my age. So I'm actually 42. I'm 42, by the way. If I have any sci-fi junkies out there or some people who like some good humor, you know that in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, this is the meaning of life. So I've kind of tried to grasp onto that this year. And because I know that 42 was the answer they came to for the meaning of life, I could actually play with that a little in my blog. It's late. I'm getting punchy. So, biographical data. Why am I starting this blog now? Well, be honest with people. Be authentic. We want you to be real. So tell them that you're starting the blog because you're a first-time author experience. Obviously, that's not the case for me. For me, I might say, because I'm working with these amazing few women. The devotional experience. So I'm going to talk about, for me, my experience is about getting to witness these people's stories, getting to witness people get in touch with their creative side through God's Word for the first time. So my experience is all about experiencing other new authors. Your experience might be totally different. Your experience might be the fact that you're digging into the Word like never before. That's it. You don't have to get more complicated than that. Then an invitation, and you can actually even use that word. I want to invite you all to follow along. So that would be mine. I want to invite you all to follow along on this journey. By the way, if you hear some little whining, that's my dog out the door there. I may ultimately end up letting her in. We'll see. And then the expectation that they can have as they're following your blog. That expectation is going to be, I'm going to tell you where I'm at every week. I'm going to tell you where I'm at every 2 weeks. I'm going to share with you the Bible verses that I've chosen to write about in this devotional. Any of those things could be the expectation that they have for you as they're following your blog. So, 5 quick answers. I'm going to be able to make 5 paragraphs. I've written my first blog. That's all it takes. You might want to upload a picture of yourself. You might want to upload a picture of the Few International Publications logo and throw that in the blog because people like visuals. You might do a couple of things in bold or italics. Play with it. Have fun. Use some color if you want to. But at the end of the day, the content piece is really easy to create. I am so excited that at 42 years, just like Douglas Adam promised, I'm sitting here living the meaning of life. I am a Wisconsin author, and I am thrilled to be working with the amazing and extraordinary women of the Fellowship of Extraordinary Women on Few International Publications release a few words on becoming holy, whole, and fit. This experience is like no other as I'm watching all sorts of new authors dive into writing for the first time. I was so moved as I heard each of these women share their life verse or those verses that are so meaningful to them. It's incredible to see how deeply affected these women are by the Word of God, and I am excited to be a part of that journey as they start to share those words with you, the reader. I invite you to join me as each of these women is creating stories and writing devotionals in a collaboration to make something that is going to help women and men everywhere become holistically healthy in mind, body, and spirit. Every week, I'm going to tell you everything that we're going through. I'm going to tell you about some of the most exciting things that I learned in the communications, in our community, and as we are working to create this book for you. Thanks so much for following along. I can't wait to keep you updated. Reggie. Boom! I've written your first blog for you. Yours is obviously going to have your own details in it, but you can see how simple this is. The data is pretty simple. That is your blog. So the big piece that you want to get started on is the blog. It's going to create these things, but how do you tell people about that blog? That is where your platforms are going to come into play. As you all know, there are so many, just countless. I think every day there's a new social media platform. One of my friends in the writing industry, she recommends that you have 2 platforms. One being the one that you're most comfortable with, and the other being the place where your clients are most likely to be. So I can tell you that as women that are, around anywhere from the 35 to 60-year-old age bracket for the most part, Facebook is the one we're most comfortable in. LinkedIn is where most of the other women of our age and life stage are working and living as far as their social media goes. So Facebook and LinkedIn, I highly recommend that you be on both of those. However, Twitter and Instagram, right behind you. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. These are the 4 platforms you want to be on. Once again, just like with your blog, they're all free. These are free platforms. All you have to sign up for them is an email. And we all know that even email is free. All of you have an email. Go ahead, try to get those 4 platforms, or at least those 2 platforms of Facebook and LinkedIn. So those are the platforms that I think you should be on. Now, whenever you write a blog, you want to share it on those platforms. All you have to do is post the website link to that blog and ask people in that post on Facebook or that post on Twitter, LinkedIn, or Instagram. With Instagram, you might actually post a picture of yourself writing the blog. All you have to do is say, hey guys, I just started a blog. I hope you'll follow me. That's it. Really simple. Now, as you're creating content over these next few weeks, you're going to get people who are interested in going along with you on this journey from concept to creation of the devotional book. And that's why this concept works. Content as a concept works. Other places that you're going to get people to follow you, email people, everybody in your email book. Go ahead. This is how you're going to build your list. By the way, you want to start storing that list. I don't care if you use Excel. I don't care if you put it in a Word document in a table. It doesn't matter. Just have somewhere that you have those names and those email addresses stored, because when we get later on, we're going to be talking about Buy-a-thon, you're going to want to have all of those addresses someplace where you can access them. So you're going to look in email, and then the 4 P's are something that we're going to be working on in the next marketing piece, but I want you to know that you're going to be looking for a pale, meaning somebody who's willing to share what it is that you are sharing, whether it's your blog, your posts, or even just the sales copy that we create when we get into our Buy-a-thon later. You're going to want a partner. This is this person who is like 100% behind you. Might be your spouse, might be a best friend, might be somebody that you're in ministry with or in a small group with. It doesn't matter. Anybody who's your 100% supporter, they're your partner. They're not going to maybe share 1 or 2 things. They're going to share everything that you post. That's who your partner is. Your powerhouse. Everybody has one of these in your life. 1, that's all you need. Your powerhouse is going to be somebody who will maybe only share once or twice what it is that you're posting. Maybe it's going to be a sales copy. Maybe it's going to be something else entirely. It might be your blog. It might be one of your posts. They might only share once or twice, but people trust that person, and that person has a large following. That's your powerhouse. Party line is something where you get a whole group of people to share something for you. We're going to talk about that more when we get into the Buy-a-thon. This is your marketing initiation. Now let's move on to the marketing collateral that goes as part of all of this. So I'm going to erase some of this stuff down here because we don't want to throw you off. So there are 3 major pieces of marketing collateral that are important as you're marketing your book. Those pieces include your press release. Your press release is going to go to anybody who wants to market you, who wants to give you publicity. That's going to be all of your media. It's going to be radio, television, newspaper, online media outlets, as well as a number of different groups that maybe would be having like public boards, community bulletin boards. I don't necessarily mean the cork board at the back of the coffee shop, although you could put it there as well. One-sheeter is the bread and butter of this business. When you are in the book world, one-sheeter is the standard marketing piece that is sent to bookstores, that is sent to anybody who wants to hire an author as a speaker, that's often sent to churches. So your one-sheeter includes a number of different elements. You will find that in your documents, in addition to some of this basic information, I'm going to have all of these different worksheets that you can follow through on. The one-sheeter really walks you through it. I give you the sample of a perfect one-sheeter of a book that went to number 1 over here. Jennifer Buchholz's book did go to number 1. The one-sheeter takes 10 different pieces of information, but puts it together in a very visually appealing way. This is actually black and white, and of course the real one is in full color, and it's beautiful. It's a visually appealing way. And the one-sheeter is really about anybody who's going to buy you as a speaker, or they're going to be buying your books. So it's a little bit different than publicity. It's people that are really a little bit more engaged with you, and that's why they're getting a little bit more information. We're going to walk through how to create a couple of those pieces that are in the one-sheeter, and in some form or another, they're also in the press release, which you will also have a sample uploaded to the group on. So some of those things include, and then our media release calendar. Notice I have this starred and I've written Buy-a-thon. That's because we do a very targeted media release calendar with few international publications to help push you to number 1. I will have a sample media release calendar uploaded to the documents, but we're going to be doing this slightly more advanced version as we get into our second marketing training. So the 3 big pieces that you can start working on now are your positioning statement, your bio, and your target market. So your positioning statement is kind of like a pitch, but a pitch is all about you. I sell cleaning products. We work at a lighting company. We provide hair services. It's all very, we, I do, I work, I am, I sell. A positioning statement puts you in the position to be in a relationship and a conversation with your ideal client. So, a couple of great ones: self awareness and internal leadership to maximize your fulfillment and contentment at work and in life. That's a positioning statement of somebody. And in this case, they have decided that they're not just saying, this is what I do. They're saying, maximize your fulfillment and contentment in work and in life. So I have a sample of 5 different positioning statements. Here's how you can come up with yours. Who are you? What makes you different? Why the intrigue? What are you doing for the reader? And if you ever see me write WIIFM, it means what's in it for me? And that's the question that audiences ultimately are always asking themselves. So if I say, I'm going to go again and create a positioning statement for myself and my business to kind of give you an example. Who am I? I'm an 8-time best-selling author. What makes you different? I will co-author, which is not a ghostwriter. Why the intrigue? Because I have a value base that I follow when working with clients. It's about relationship, engagement, captivation, and voice. What am I doing for the reader? I'm honoring their story. And what's in it for me? I make the process something easy for them to understand. So my positioning statement might be: best-selling author and co-author, honors celebrities' stories by partnering with people who have generous values, and they resulting in a very process-driven book creation journey. Threw something together really quick. You get the idea. You want to throw something together. I've got these questions and I have the samples in the folder. It gets even easier on these other 2 pieces, the bio and the target market. By the way, I noticed I'm going a little longer than the first time I did this video, so we're going to be a little bit past that 20-minute mark. I apologize. So your bio, qualification, in other words, what qualifies you to be a part of this project? So Kathy has been working in ministry, I don't know, by the way, if this is true, in women's ministry for 10 years. I'm just going to throw that out there. This is something that qualifies me. Why the devotional? She has ultimately decided to share her personal journey in physical fitness as it has applied to her life's spiritual fitness. That's why the devotional now. What's in it for the reader? Again, we're coming back to this. So readers will learn that there is no time that's too late to dive into God's Word. What are the relations? We're going to say Kathy, and I don't know why I used Kathy as my fake name, by the way, because I know we have 2 Kathys in the group. But relations, we might say, Kathy is married with 3 kids. Where and what does she? So where does she live? What does she do? So she lives in Southeast Wisconsin and works as a fitness trainer. What is her big picture goal? She wants to see women become as fit on the inside as they are on the outside. You put those things together and you would have Kathy, a wife and mother of 3 living in Southeast Wisconsin, has decided to help make women become as fit on the inside as they are on the outside. She's spent 10 years in women's ministry, and through this devotional, she is looking to help women discover the spiritual fitness for the first time in their life, because, as she can tell you, it's never too late. again, I threw that together. We have another bio breakdown. By the way, it's really funny that this happens to be a Krieger. Leon is no relation to Kim as far as I know. He's a gentleman I worked with on a screenplay. And so these were the questions when I asked him those same questions, what he decided to answer and how we put it together in his ultimate bio for his screenplay that he was submitting to various companies. So totally unrelated to Kim Krieger as far as I know, but that just shows you another example on how to put together a bio. Last piece that you can start to work on is your target market. That target market is going to tell you what your selling points are, which you will see as one of the elements of the one-sheeter, as well as what your promotional opportunities are, another piece of the one-sheeter. So the who in your target market, you want to get really specific. So some of the questions I have in your target market finder, which you will have this document in the group folder, is what is the age group? So let's be honest with ourselves, women. You know, we know that God's word is for everybody at every age, at every stage, from every background. There's definitely truth to that. But who's really going after these books? Let's look at who's creating it and be honest with ourselves and say, you know what? You know, women 35 and older are probably the age group. You know, with or without kids, most of them probably have kids. Region, background, education level. You know, we're looking Western Hemisphere. We're looking kind of, this is probably not going to be as relatable to the women in African villages as it is to people who are, you know, in homes and dealing with the same types of, you know, everyday issues that we as American women and as Western culture women, I know we have some Trinidad women with us as well. We're women that have, you know, homes and jobs and general health and general services provided to us. So that's going to be our background. Education level, this one might not be as specific. I do think that this is going to be something that's going to relate to people regardless of their education level, because this book is more about the stage of life than it is about any of those educational circles. And then interests. Most people that pick up devotionals are already going to be Christians. So that community, faith community interest, that's going to be a big thing. So by narrowing it down, I mean, you think about it, you might start up at the tree level and say women. The target market is women. Really? Okay, so you've narrowed it down to just over 50% of the world. So we got to really get specific. Now, when you add in age, it gets a little bit more specific. When you add in stage, it gets a little bit more specific. When you add in region and background, it gets a little bit more specific. When you add in interest, it gets a little bit more specific. Suddenly we have, 35 and older women from, developed cultures who are Christian and connected to communities. Because of that, that's the who. Because of that, we can now get creative and learn the where. Something that I always told my clients when they started to work with me is I would say, where do you want your book? What's the big goal? And everybody would say Borders or Barnes & Noble. I'm sorry, I still go to Borders naturally because I used to be a GM for Borders. They say Barnes & Noble. Fantastic. We will happily put your book on the shelf next to 100,000 other books where you will be competing for sales. That's not really the best way to do it. So instead, when you're talking about where, instead of being one book next to 100,000 books, how about being one book in front of your target market where they have a whole bunch of other products? So think about that. For you guys, this is a devotional on becoming holy, whole, and fit. Imagine putting this into holistic health stores. Imagine putting this into not just a bookstore, but maybe a Christian bookstore. So I know in Southeast Wisconsin, we've got Garden of Eden. That's a huge one over at Elmbrook Christian Church. So you're going to want to look more specifically where those women that we described, those developed country, 35 and older women connected to Christian community, where are they? Where are they? They're doing yoga. They're down at the holistic stores. They're in the grocery stores buying for their kids. They are in Christian small groups. They're in churches. They're in the Christian bookstores, the independent bookstores. That's where these women are. They are even at the local farmers markets. That is where you want your book. So your selling points are, why are people going to want this? It's going to tie to a lot of that positioning statement. And then your promotional opportunities. Oh, this would be great for women's small groups. Promotional opportunities. This would be wonderful at the local farmers market. Promotional opportunities. This goes in Garden of Raden. Those are your promotional opportunities. So I've kind of walked you through the foundation that you want to put together as part of your marketing initiation. And again, we did run almost a full, I think 8 minutes longer than the last video. So apparently I was a little bit chatty. But what you're going to find is in your materials, I'm going to have even more detail than all of this that we walked through. But bottom line, your platform is all about creating a relationship through a blog. I gave you an initial blog, and then blasting that blog out there through your social media platforms. You're going to want to look at building that list for your followers of your blog even more by emailing, finding people who will partner with you and sharing one or two or many things. Then, things that you're going to start creating for that ultimate buy-a-thon are going to be working on creating the pieces that go into your press release and your one-sheeter. You're going to do that by having your positioning statement. You're going to do that by creating your short bio. And you're going to do that by knowing who your market is that you're speaking to and where they are. This has been your marketing initiation. Good luck, ladies. Sorry we ran a little bit long.